There were two kinds of applause in Amelia's life: the kind that echoed through black box studios and smelled like rosin dust and sweat, and the kind that lived only inside her phone, bright as sunrise and just as fleeting. She was a first year college student, literary arts and dance, a girl who treated discipline like devotion, morning rehearsals before sunrise, notebooks full of lines, and lines, poems that read like choreography, and choreography that moved like poems. Her world was small, but it was sacred. The studio's dim exit sign, the click of the door latch, and the way dawn air felt like clean paper ready for her first mark. A campus food hall where chairs scraped, laughter rolled, and there were always one chair saved for Marcus. Chapter 1: The Innocent Rhythm. Marcus knew her almost as well as she knew herself. They'd met in high school, two quiet souls who preferred long walks to loud rooms and carried that rhythm into college like a favorite song. They split fries, traded playlists, and they scribbled dreams in the margins of napkins. "Read me," he'd say. She'd recite a few lines from her latest poem. He tapped the table softly in a slow 4/4 beat, keeping time for her courage. On cool nights, he parked outside her dorm and they walked the lit paths. "What scares you most?" he asked once. Being ordinary," she whispered. "Dancing small." "You couldn't even if you tried," he said, meaning it. He idled outside the off campus studio, heater on low. "How was class?" "Hard," she said, "but good." He kept granola bars in the glove box and a water bottle in the door, habits born of noticing. Some nights, she fell asleep on the call. When he tried to hang up, she'd mumble, "No, don't leave me," and drift again. He'd whisper, "Good morning," and wait a minute longer, as if love could be measured by the silence one is willing to sit through. Bridge into the regular rhythm. Practice usually runs late. She said one afternoon, throwing up a napkin, "I'm running late. Miss Dawson says I'm overthinking the turns." "You overthink everything," Marcus smiled. "Except for French fries." She laughed. He was her constant, the friend who texted, "Are you home?" when rehearsals ran long, the one who idled at the curb because she had no car, the one who stayed when her loneliness grew teeth. But even in the warmth, a crack. Amelia felt it when tuition bills whispered about futures and numbers, when she washed her leotard by hand and stared at the thinning seams, when commuters glided by in clean sedans and she thought, "How does anyone get ahead?" Marcus would say, "You already shine. You just can't see it yet." She'd nod gratefully and wonder why shining didn't pay for point shoes. Chapter 2: The Day Luna Arrived. The off campus studio was a covered warehouse with windows like cathedral panes and a floor that remembered every dancer who ever bled on it. Amelia had been training there for weeks. Class picked up by Marcus, the quiet loop of discipline. Then Luna walked in. Not older exactly, just finished, like life had already crowned her. Expensive ballet shoes, silk warm ups, nails like lacquered moons, a car that purred when it parked, the kind of purr that says no bus pass has ever touched these hands. Class began. Combinations stacked like stairs. Amelia landed a series of turns with a softness that felt like prayer. From the mirror's edge, Luna watched, not to critique, but to choose. After class, breath steady, smile precise, Luna said, "Your lines, honey. Who taught you to soften the landing like that?" Amelia flushed. "No one. I just listened to the floor." "Of course you do," Luna said. "Your instinct." Approval felt like a room warming. They stretched side by side on the Marley. Luna asked questions that sounded like compliments. Favorite choreographers? Do you write your own pieces? Do you realize how rare you are? On two different evenings before anything changed, Marcus picked Amelia up as usual. He nodded a friendly hello to the new girl, carried Amelia's bag, and asked about class. Luna waved with a smile that never quite reached her eyes. A week later, Luna said, "Coffee? There's a corner cafe." They went, and they talked. It felt like invitation. Only then did the first shift occur. A missed call from Marcus, then another. When he texted, "Waiting outside, no rush," she replied, "I got a ride, see you tomorrow." He stared at the message, two words that felt like a wall, and drove home in silence. That learned the shape of his name. It happened on a weekday when the light made every storefront wink. Amelia paused at display, a red dress like liquid sunset, golden hills like impossible promises. She didn't touch them, just looked, then looked away. Luna saw the look. "Try it." "I no, it's just pretty." "It's you." Luna took the dress. "Dressing room 7 is open." Amelia obeyed the way a dancer obeys a count. When she stepped out, the mirror didn't show the girl who saved quarters in jars. It showed a woman who might be invited to the front of the room. "I can't," Amelia whispered, fingers on the tag. "It's a lot." "I'll get it," Luna said. "A gift." "No," heat rose in Amelia's cheeks. "I can't accept something this expensive. I'd never be able to pay you back." "Call it a loan. You'll pay me back easily." "How?" A laugh, small but brittle. "Dance majors don't exactly. Have you ever wondered how I afford my car? Those shoes?" Luna's eyes glittered. "I make it in a weekend, what some people make in a month. No one owns my schedule. No one tells me I'm not enough." "OnlyFans?" Amelia blinked. The word unraveled like a ribbon. "I don't. It's simple." Luna's voice turned velvet. "You control your page, your threshold. No one touches anything you don't offer. It's empowerment. And I have a guy, Robert. He sets it up. He helps girls get lunch. He fronts them cash for lashes, hair, nails, clothes. You start strong. You stay strong. Consider this dress your first outfit, and I'll charge it to my guy." Amelia stepped back, dress gathering at her ankles like a tide receding. I shouldn't. You deserve to stop struggling, Luna said gently. Just let success stop looking like a sacrifice. Amelia looked into the mirror. The red said future. The gold said relief. Somewhere in the pocket where she kept breath, something loosened. Just alone, huh? She murmured. Just until school evens out. No, just until you remember your worth, Luna agreed, already at the register. At first sight, Amelia framed everything as art. Silhouettes, lines, dancers' hands. Her hands traced through the shadow and light. Her captions pulled quotes from artists she loved. She told herself, it's curation, not concession. The numbers surged. The hum inside her phone rang. Dopamine arrived in polite clothes and sat at the end of her bed, nodding along to each new tip, each message that began, you are. Classes got missed, not because she didn't care, because she cared too much about what cared about her back. Rehearsals got skipped. Miss DeLasa's emails went unread. Even slept and forgot how to stay. Marcus noticed the change. Are you okay? He asked one night on the phone. I'm fine, she said brightly, contradiction in her tone. Another ping, another DM, another hour swallowed by a screen. Morning. Practice dismissed. Faculty note. Admission suspended due to academic pending absences and missed performances. She read it and told herself it was a season. Seasons pass, and so with this. After all, the account was finally paying the bills. Chapter 5. Robert. Robert didn't approach. He arrived. A coat whispered off his shoulders. A watch that was mostly silent. A wedding ring, tan line, he hid beneath a smile. You're not like the others, he said over dinner. You don't perform. You compose. I can build your page into something premium. Compliments poured like wine. You were never meant for mediocrity. People would pay anything to hear the kind of grace you hold. You've been carrying everyone else's expectations. Let me carry yours. He took her hand. They crossed the street. Kept her close in photos. He never asked for more than she already given until the next day he asked for less. Tone down the quotes, he suggested. What converts is feeling, not philosophy. He updated captions, A/B tested headlines, smoothed her voice into something less than her own, but more of his. Then came the strings she didn't notice until they clenched. Remember, I fronted you that wardrobe. Remember, I paid for that promo. Percentages is how we keep this fair. Their intimacy was a door she crossed in a moment of exhaustion, a moment when praise felt like oxygen. Otherwise, tenderness retreated and metrics advanced. We need 2 more sets this week. Engagement dipped its algorithms unless we push. We owe this performance to the fair charge for the investment, Angel. Don't make me regret believing in you. Gaslighting slipped on like gloves. You'd be nothing without this. No one saw you before. Be grateful, Amelia. That's all I ask. She apologized for things she didn't break, worked through nights that felt like noon, crafted desires she didn't feel, and called it empowerment because the caption said so. Chapter 6. The Investigation. Marcus couldn't watch the light go out and call it destiny. He researched a name, Robert Hale, a shell company, an agency shuttered into 2 states. Local clippings appeared. Arrest, investigation, missing women associated with social media talent networks. He printed the pages and circled names. He brought them to Amelia. This is who he is, Marcus said, voice controlled but breaking at the edges. And Luna, she's linked to him in the filings and all the photos. Amelia felt heat crawl beneath her skin. Shame, indignation, defense. They've been good to me, she said softly. You don't understand what it's like to finally be seen. I saw you, Marcus said, before all of this, and I still do. Silence stretched, then trembling. Then her phone buzzed with a deposit notification, and the hum took her hand again. Please go, she whispered. You're trying to protect me from something that isn't real. Marcus left the papers on the table and the door open behind him. He waited on the sidewalk for a long time, in unnecessary minutes, as if love could hold a building upright by standing outside of it. Chapter 7. The Break. The reveal came like a glass tipping over, slow, then sudden. Amelia arrived early at the studio and heard voices through the office door. Luna and Robert. No velvet on their syllables. You're married, Robert. 2 kids, Luna snapped. You said she was a campaign, not a confession. I said what I needed, he hissed. We cash her out and move on. Then move, Luna shot back, before she starts thinking longevity means loyalty. It wasn't the words alone. It was the tone. Transaction, where there had been theater. The floor under Amelia's feet steadied. The room tilted the other way toward truth. She stepped back down the hall, the mirror catching her in that red dress she'd once believed might be a great beginning. She couldn't remember the last time she danced barefoot. Luna emerged first, fixing her makeup. She froze when she saw Amelia. How long? Long enough, Amelia whispered. We all do what we have to do to survive, Luna. But the words sounded like something you'd said 100 times to strangers. Amelia walked past her. At home, she opened Marcus's stack of papers. Names, links, investigations, a pattern wide as highway. Some girls missing, some silent. Her heart kicked hard, not with panic, but with something older, discernment. She shut the door like a laptop. Chapter 8. Falling Out of Fame. Validation is a tricky substance. It doesn't leave needle marks. It leaves quiet rooms and louder shadows. It leaves you watching your own hands perform feelings you don't feel and calling it work. Amelia sent a message. I'm done. Robert replied with a curator's smile turned blade. You can't afford to be done. Percentages, contracts, debts. But when she checked the numbers, the debts were smoke. The kind written on napkins, spoken over dinner, never signed. She stopped posting. The hum of her phone didn't die, it whined. She deleted the app. It screamed in silence. Friends, as few as they were, texted question marks. Followers asked, "Where did you go?" Miss Delacia emailed, "Academic suspension for the semester due to missed performances." Amelia read it and didn't cry. Tears would have been too easy. What came instead was stillness. She put the red dress back in its box and wrote one sentence on a scrap of paper. "I was enough before anyone said so." Chapter 9, The Rescue. Marcus knocked, then waited, then knocked again. The door opened to a girl who had learned the cost of applause. "I'm sorry," she said first. "You don't have to be," he answered. He didn't bring big speeches. He brought groceries. The girl was hungry. He brought the name of counselors who specialized in social media dependency and performance-based identity. He brought printouts about algorithms and rewarded cycles of silence. He brought the science on how to loosen shame. He, most of all, brought presence. He sat with her while she unlearned the sound of pings and relearned the sound of quiet. Weeks became a kind of recovery choreography. Counseling on Mondays, long walks on Wednesdays, Saturdays in the studio with Miss Delicia, giving her a key, an hour alone. Amelia danced without mirrors, without music, without anyone's eyes, arms that remembered, feet that forgave. Beneath that, returned like a stray finding its way home. Again, she told herself, but this time for truth. Chapter 10. 10 years later. A decade is a long time for some wounds to become weather and some names to become hymns. Amelia wrote at a small desk by a window. On the shelf, a photo, two hands linked, a child's fingers threaded through them. On the table, a simple printed program, vow renewal, 10 years. She paused, pen lifted, eyes full of the kind of light that doesn't come from a lamp. "It's been 10 years since I found out," she said in a quiet voice. "Half to the page, half to the air." A voice answered from the hallway, warm and familiar. "Honey, are you ready?" She looked up and smiled. "Yes, it's been 10 years since I found out." He stepped into the room. "Found out what?" he asked softly, though he sort of already knew. Amelia stood, smoothing the skirt of a simple dress with no appetite for spectacle. "That love is so much more important to me than fame," she said. "That real, authentic relationships are so much more important than money. That when a person truly loves you, they show you in the most subtle ways. They are there when you call. They give you a ride when you have none. They are present for the little things, and they love you through all things." She reached for a small card on the desk, fingers steady, and I found out what love really is. Her voice gathered the room, and she recited, word for word, the passage that had become her compass. Love is patient. Love is kind. It does not envy. It does not boast. It is not proud. It does not dishonor others. It is not self-seeking. It is not easily angered. It keeps no record of wrongs. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with truth. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always perseveres. Love never fails. The words didn't float, they rooted. She looked at him then, the friend who stayed when the room emptied, the man who learned to call quiet rescue. I used to have OnlyFans, she said, and smiled at the memory without bitterness. But now I have my one true fan for life. And that, my love, is you. It's always been you, Marcus, my one true fan. Marcus's eyes brighten with the kind of tears that don't fall. They hold a person steady from the inside. Before he could speak, their daughter burst through the door, a whirl of ribbons and certainty. Mama, Daddy, Papa says the ceremony is about to begin. We have to go so we're not late. Amelia laughed, a sound with edges that smoothed time. She looked at her daughter's hand. She took her husband's hands. 3 palms, 1 pulse. They walked down the highway and into a backyard where family waited and lilies bent toward the sun. There was no stage, only ground. Holy because it was honest. The officiant began, but Amelia barely heard the words. She was listening to other sounds now. Marcus's breath, their daughter's giggle, the gentle applause of leaves. If you had asked her once what she wanted, she would have said a platform. Ask her now, she would say a home. You've just listened to A Beyond Strange Art original audiobook written and read by Teresa Cole. If you're enjoying the content, don't forget to like and subscribe and look forward to weekly uploads. See the description box for access to Beyond Strange Art Gallery Store.